I'm Adam Watson.
I'm Julian Watson.
This is the Dark Center Mafia Power Hour. Today we're taking a look at a Fantastic Four promo comic. Marvel Age issue number 5, but done in a teeny tiny size. To give you an idea of the size, this is a standard size comic, one we're going to be looking at in the days to come too. I think, if I recall correctly, this came with some little sticky toy that you got when you were a little, like, maybe it was like a thing that you put in water and it grew or something like that. It seemed like a cheap ass toy to actually have a comic packaged in, especially when so many action figures don't.
Yeah.
I'm not the world's biggest or most knowledgeable Fantastic Four fan. I know a little bit about them, but not that much. This wouldn't have been a comic I would have picked up on its own, but I have an obsession with taking a look at promo comics. So, why not, right?
Yeah.
So, right out of the gate, Marvel does exactly what I've complained about before. One of the things I've stated is they don't know how to do mini comics. And the reason they don't know how to do mini comics is because they just take a full-size page and shrink it down. They don't increase the size of the lettering whatsoever. This lettering is so goddamn tiny that it's a strain to read, even for younger eyes.
Yeah.
So, I'll try to read the credits, but they're so tiny. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby are credited as the plotters. So I'm guessing this is a redo of an early Fantastic Four issue.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason I state that I don't really know all that much about the Fantastic Four, because I know Doctor Doom is their villain. I couldn't tell you exactly what his first appearance is or what his motivations were when he first appeared. Mark Samarak is the writer. Udon's Dax Gorleen with M3TK, I think that says. Close enough. Did the art. Gorham maybe did the colors. And Dave Sharp looks like the letter. I am probably getting those incorrect. I'll get a magnifying glass out just to figure it out. So it starts off with a newspaper that is done really well, by the way. Newspapers are weirdly hard to do in comics. Like, get the coloring right and, make them actually look like it's really newspaper. Yeah. There's one in Ghost Assassin that I've been trying to color and recolor for, like, the better part of a decade, I swear. And I cannot get it right. I want it to look right before the trade paperback comes up. Yeah, it's still not there. This looks like a newspaper. It's a good job. In any case, Dr. Doom's all pissed off and punches the newspaper. Why? Well, because, Reed Richards stuff, I guess. He doesn't really have a whole lot of motivation in this. And then we get the kind of standard Fantastic Four, a family, Ben and Johnny are fighting, blah, blah, blah. They're watching a Hulk movie, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And the dialogue here, you can't really tell the difference between Reed, Ben, and Johnny.
Yeah.
They all basically sound the exact same.
Yeah, also, I know that, like, obviously, Mr. Fantastic stretches and Johnny sets himself on fire, but in this comic, outside of, like, their hair color differences, they're so oddly difficult to tell apart.
Yeah, you mean because they're drawn similarly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, the artwork and the dialogue don't lend well to actually figuring out who the characters are when the flame's not on.
Yeah, they're almost impossible to tell apart, except for the colors.
Yeah.
Even then, sometimes it's really awkward to try and just, like, tell them apart.
Yeah. So then Doctor Doom shows up in a hovering jet and demands that they become his slaves. And Reed just automatically agrees to this. Why? I don't know. But he gives his team a half-assed reason. He was in college with Doctor Doom. We already know that.
Yeah.
Doctor Doom was willing to dip into mystical black arts, not just science. We already knew that. None of that tells us why he doesn't just fight him.
Yeah.
So they go ahead and get pulled up in Doom's tractor beam, which is all this technology he has, and he uses a damn tractor beam like it's a UFO. I love that. And then I really don't like the way Thing is drawn facially in this comic, by the way. I don't know what it is, but he looks like he's wearing like guy liner like JD Vance, I think.
He looks like an anime guy.
Maybe, but look, he's got like JD Vance style shading to his eyes.
Yeah, he has kind of a soft looking. He has a soft design, kind of.
It's the eyeliner. It's making you think that it's JD Vance underneath that thing, Rock. They fly off to Latveria, where there's a few good little quips, not many, but the Thing does make some half-assed jokes that are a little bit funny about how he can't even afford a sandwich or an apartment in Brooklyn, and yet these guys that are villains have like these castles and blah blah blah. Seems more relevant right now than it probably did when this comic came out.
Yeah.
But then Doctor Doom tells them what it is that he's wanting. What is he wanting? He's wanting them to enter his time portal, which Reed immediately states is impossible. And then 3 panels later is like, I'll be damned, he did it. He wants him to step in the time portal and go find the treasure of Blackbeard? And gives him a homing beacon that looks like a tiny little bowl, because I can't figure out if this is one of Reed's fingers going into it or if it's like a spoon in it. I don't know. It's weird. Whatever the case, Blackbeard's treasure. All these things he could be after. His mom, I think, like, is dead in the past.
Yeah.
And it's a big part of the reason why he's a villain, and he can send the Fantastic Four back in the past for any reason, and it's to steal Blackbeard's treasure, which Doctor Doom seems like the type of guy who could just step into his time portal and go and take Blackbeard's treasure himself.
He could just send his machines.
Yeah, but I don't know. This could be the plot being by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. This actually could be one of the Silver Age plots for the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seems goofy enough to be like a Silver Age comic.
Yeah, it definitely does. Whatever the case, once they arrive in the past, they need clothes, and lucky for them, some guys who are roughly their size, including the Things, decide that they're going to come after them. And wouldn't you know it, the big-ass guy who has the clothes that the Thing's going to wear happens to have a wig on. The Thing can put on is a black beard. Do you see where this might be going? This comic is aimed at kids. I appreciate that, but I've had a harder time figuring out the ending to SpongeBob cartoons than what I have in this one. So, as they beat him up and walk off, I'm just going to point out something here, okay?
Alright.
Boxer shorts don't come around till like 1910, 1920, something like that. It's like early 1900s.
Yeah.
Blackbeard would have been around 1750 to 1770, somewhere in that time period. Aren't these guys wearing like modern socks, modern boxer shorts, modern tank tops? Is that what they have on under their suits? And they like put that on them? Because if so, it's not cool that, the Thing's rocky ass has been in those boxers and now he put it on this poor unassuming guy. He doesn't deserve to wake up with the rocky stank of Thing's ass clinging to him.
It's a kid's comic. I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah, well, a little bit of historical accuracy, or maybe don't put your underwear on another man would be like. So they go into a bar and immediately get in a fight where apparently they lose the fight. Why do they lose the fight? It's all a part of Reed's plan. A plan we don't actually get to find out because the Thing gets tired of waiting around and just clobbers his way through the hull of the ship. And then Reed decides that the Thing needs backup. Why does he need backup against a bunch of normal pirates? Just an excuse for Johnny and Reed to use their powers, I guess.
Yeah.
But these are pirate times, and you can't just sell your ship peacefully and expect to, get away with that. So, while the pirates on this ship are immediately bowing down to the Fantastic Four because they're quote unquote enchanted, another pirate ship attacks. This is probably one of the only uses of Johnny's power in this comic that I was like, oh, actually, that's kind of clever. He goes around and superheats water around the ship to create mist so that they can't see where they're heading. It's clever. Would that potentially have really devastating effects for the ocean around them? Would it catch the ship on fire? Well, hell, he's blasting fire across this ship right now, and it's completely made out of wood, so I don't think they really thought that far into it.
Yeah.
And then Reed makes himself into a plank so that they can bridge the gap and go attack these guys. Right here, Johnny's just lighting this whole ship on fire. It's what's happening.
Yeah.
They beat them pretty easily. And then it turns out, wait, Ben is Blackbeard. They're calling him Blackbeard. All hell, Blackbeard, the pirate. It turns out he was Blackbeard all along. And so the treasure they seek must just be this random ass treasure chest that just so happens to be right there so Ben can sit on it. They didn't have to look for it whatsoever. They just lucked into the whole entire thing. It's almost like this is an event that had to happen, otherwise it created a time displaced paradox.
Yeah.
But Reed sees a loophole. Doom only asks that the treasure chest be brought back, not its contents. So he dumps it all into the ocean. And then we get the obligatory scene where a bunch of characters are in the past and one of them decides to stay in the past. This is in damn near every single time travel story there is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment on the clichéness of it because, we've all seen it so many times. And in this instance, the thing doesn't actually stay in the past. Yeah. And for all I know, if this is in fact based off of an old Jack Kirby Fantastic Four issue, it probably happened way back then, and maybe it predates a bunch of those stories where, the character is deciding to stay in the past. But he decides to go with them, which gives us another chance to get a close-up on Thing's weird-ass guyliner. Then they signal for Doom to get them with his vomit-looking time portal. But once in the present, Doom finds out he was double-crossed. And then the Thing says it's clobbering time, which I didn't see coming. But it turns out Doom was a Doombot all along, which I also didn't see coming. And he's off in another room with the Invisible Woman, who takes his glass of wine. It's a good thing that all dictators just sit around drinking wine all night.
Yeah.
She takes it and manages to completely blow up the controls that he's using, that he has the other members of... I skipped over that part. The other members of the Fantastic Four are locked in this room that Doom is pulling all of the oxygen out of. This is a control panel for that she just blew up and blew him across the room, right?
Right.
But now what's she doing? She's using that same control panel to open up the door and let oxygen back into the room. Okay. So she pours it on here, shorts out, blows up, which we all know. If you pour wine onto a keyboard, it blows up.
Yeah.
You don't believe me? Get out your brand new MacBook Pro right now. Pour wine on it. It'll blow up at you. But then she types on it. How is that possible? So everybody wants to just destroy Doom's castle, but Reed's like, nah, he won't be our arch nemesis if you do that. So the Thing just clobbers his way through the side of the building, and then Reed now knows that he can become a bridge, which, despite being the smartest person in the world, he never thought of before the Thing made him do it as a pirate plank.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Human Torch like turns the place into some sort of an atomic firestorm. But Doom yells out of his window that they better get the fuck off his lawn. He's not afraid of their flame going around. He's not afraid of stretchy people made of rock, and he's sure as shit not afraid of invisible people who throw wine at his computer. They need to get the fuck off his lawn right now. Then we have an ad where people can buy comics. Not a bad idea. It's an online shop. If they're willing to pony up the cash to be in here, that's a good idea. Because, like, you know, you need to send them somewhere after this and make sense for them to actually keep buying comics if they enjoyed this enough to do that, right?
Yeah.
So then we get some other ads that aren't bad, all in all.
Yeah.
You know, they're fine. I was right. It was a grow your own superhero this came with. Because it was a thing. You got this toy at like a dime store when you were like 5. I'm surprised it's still in existence.
Yeah.
It's amazing that between you and all your younger siblings, this thing isn't just roached.
Yeah.
That might also speak to how much you guys enjoyed this, though. Because comics that you got when you were like 5 that you really enjoyed don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
This one still does. You know, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit? It was one of your sister's favorite comics when she was younger. I came home one day from a convention, and for some reason, all of the pages to it had been removed and were lining our front windows. Why? I don't know. She was 12 at the time, old enough that this should have seemed like a fairly weird thing to do. But, you know, in her head, this was a way to show her love for that Who Framed Roger Rabbit comic. I don't know how. I do know when comics are super loved by kids, they don't necessarily survive that kid. So this probably wasn't that loved.
Yeah.
Did this make you want to delve into the world of the Fantastic Four?
No.
Nah. And it clearly didn't when you were little either, because you never asked me for any of their comics. Whatever the case, though, in terms of promo comics, it's not the worst thing. The biggest thing is, like, when Marvel does these little tiny issues, they need to letter them as though they're actually being made to be printed at this size, you know?
Yeah.
It's my biggest complaint with their digests. It's my biggest complaint with everything they do at a smaller size. They don't ever take the time to re-letter it, to adjust the size, you know?
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Nope.
All right, let's go make some comics. We didn't create the comics that were featured in today's episode, but we did create these. Check out Ghost Assassin in the Cards and the Chihuahua Who Flew Away mini comic, both of which were written by me. The Chihuahua Who Flew Away was illustrated
by me.